Hello again, YouTube. It is Crest from Little Tat Girls Digital Homestead. Guess what? I finally want to give you a garden tour. It has been so long.
I didn't find out until after I recorded this that my mic cut out after just a couple of sentences. I was just saying that I was finally happy to be able to give you a garden tour, the first tour of 2025. I had not done a tour since 2024 because of all the changes going on in the garden.
So we'll start over here in this corner. This is a work in progress. You can see it's a hot mess right now. It used to be even worse. The pallet is temporary. I was just trying to figure out how to create a level space for my planters, but now I have a whole new plan. So stay tuned to see what I do with that area. Over here, we have one of my Vigo Garden asparagus beds. The other one here is the big asparagus bed. This is a vajayga bed. There's not much going on over here because asparagus comes up in the spring, you harvest it, then you let it fern. The other stuff in this bed is actually a bunch of purple oric, which has reseeded itself because I haven't cut them down every year. I'm gonna have to get rid of some of that so it doesn't take over too much this year. Over here we have some chives, some shisho volunteers. You see there's quite a few of those as well around the yard. There's some in here. This was my garlic bed. I harvested my garlic already. Too early, I learned later, but it was dying back probably from weather. This is usually our bird cage / house area. It's over here now because that branch is falling. It got hit, I guess, in a recent storm, and then the last storm we had, it got worse and actually started falling. So we moved this out the way so that it wouldn't get crushed. So we have to get that down, then we can put this back. But usually our bird feeders, squirrel feeders, and everything hang on there. Now over here, this is the area that I like to call the fence garden. I added more beds over here this year. Over here we have some tarragon, which takes over. I've started pulling that up from some other places. This one can stay. We have some tarragon in this pot that has seen better days. Here we have some golden zucchini, which looks really good. I've harvested one of these so far. Those look like they will be ready to go tomorrow. And maybe that one there. There's some more coming. There's 3 plants in there. Those came from a local nursery. We have some petunias. I have petunias everywhere because when I went shopping on July 3rd to a local nursery that I love, she said, on your way out, help yourself to some petunias or geraniums. I don't like geraniums, but I grabbed a bunch of petunias. Here we have a tomato called Carolina Gold. I see one back there. Looking good, looking pretty good, and a spider. Okay. A lot of the plants along this fence garden were added from a nursery after I planted my initial garden. This, I believe, is a hillbilly tomato, as is that one in there. Then we have a hybrid cucumber plant. So these are behind some of my other plants because they were added later. And as you can see, a lot of these tomatoes look like they are just upset because we've had so much heat. They're curling. And they don't like extreme heat, but they should recover just fine. In the front here, we have 3 pepper plants. I think these are Cubanelle, if I recall. I could be wrong about that though. But look, there's a cute little tomato right there coming off of this plant on the right. Here's an empty green stalk that I haven't planted up yet. Here we have 3 more tomato plants. Those are Big Boy, and they look really good. There's one there. There's a lot of flowers on here, so I think they'll be just fine. That's a hibiscus there. These round beds, this one and that one, have beans that are finally starting to climb the arch. Although the ones over there, only 1 plant is left. There's potatoes in the bottom. We have some shisho and some marigolds. This is my main tomato bed. I just planted it on June 1st, so it'll be quite a while before I pull these potatoes. And actually, what was the garlic bed, I might put a second round of potatoes in there. Actually, I know for sure I'm going to do that. So same thing here. Another gorgeous hibiscus. Look at that thing. Look at those colors. That is gorgeous. This is one of the only mint beds left. Let me see if I remember what this is. Oh, that's not the right tag. I think this is pineapple mint. I could be wrong. But I pulled a bunch of other mint out of the other beds before I redid them. This is the only one I kept. This green stalk was planted up with clearance nursery plants and little microdwarf plants that I had. So I was growing microdwarf tomatoes in the house in hydroponics. I harvested some, I set them on the kitchen counter, and I forgot about them. And when they started going mushy, I was like, oops. So instead of throwing them away, I stuck them out here in a planter. I'll insert a picture here. Lots of them germinated, so I'm using them in several places. Here we have some plum tomatoes. I see a gorgeous looking tomato right there. There's another over there. We've got a sunflower that someone, I presume a squirrel, has torn up. Over here we have another cucumber and tomato. Here's another tomato. So these two are Beefmaster. They are looking all right. They need a little bit of water and feeding maybe. Here in this bed, this is Cherokee purple tomatoes, which is one of my favorite, and gypsy peppers in the front. More gorgeous petunias. And this bed is technically my husband's. There's a Roma tomato there. This is a chili pecan pepper, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. And these are late addition tomato plants to replace the one that was there that died. All right, now let's take a look at the patio garden. We've got green stalks, my Vigo garden planter, some pots. So we'll start over here. This is my, let me look at the tag, Meyer lemon tree that I got from Stark Bros. I have that one. I have a variegated pink lemon. And I have a key lime, which I know I will have to bring inside in the winter. And I have one more thing. Yes, I do. This is the, well, this one can stay out, I think. The Bushel and Berry Baby Cakes Blackberry. I'm excited. This is the first time I'm attempting berries or citrus or anything like that because I've usually been against taking things in the house. But I'm gonna work it out. Next to that, we have a green stalk full of bush beans, which is really just starting to flower. And I see a bean there. I know I saw a bigger one down here earlier. Yep. Almost time to start getting some beans. Next to that is a sub pod planter that I've had for a while. Sub plant has come, gone, and then come back again. They gave me this as an affiliate. What I'm going to do is next year I'm going to paint this because the wood is now worn and beat up, but it's still a great planter. It's very strong, pretty well made. In here we have some chives, some shiso, that's a dead onion, 2 volunteer squash. One of these was found in the rocks over here. One of these was found in a green stalk. I put them in here temporarily at the time, but I might just leave them here and see what happens depending on what they are. Here we have broccoli. There was like 6 of these. No, there was 3 of these. The other 2 were thrown out because they were bolting, but this one still looked pretty good, so I let it stay. It seems to like that spot. Over here in this green stalk, we have a bunch of herbs. There's some sage. I like to call them my fancy sages. She showed there's some different sage over there. There's some rosemary. There's a whole bunch of dill, celery at the top, and lemongrass at the top. And there's some radishes tucked in some of these other pockets. And these pockets here, the ones that are covered, I put some onions in there and covered them up to keep the squirrels out. I need to do that one down there. And then this razzleberry green stalk, which is looking really good. We've got microdwarf tomatoes, we've got peppers, we've got peanut plants, thanks to the squirrels. We've got fennel, and I'm going to show you something on that fennel in a moment. We've got celery up at the top and more peppers. This is my Vigo Garden elevated raised bed, or a raised planter, if you want to call it that. There's a full video coming out on this very soon. In here we have some leeks, onions, peanut plant, some Cuban oregano, lots of collards, some regular oregano, some basil, some more of that sage, and it's looking great. It's looking great. We'll also talk later about my watering system that's in here. Actually, the watering system and everything. I'm going to do a whole video explaining my irrigation now that I finally have it all set up. The only area that's not done yet is the fence garden, but I have a plan for that as well. Over here, we talked about the key lime already. This is the cherry blossom green stalk, which was the first thing that I set up in the spring. That's why it's looking so ratty and beat up now, because a lot of this was cool weather spring stuff that has started to bolt. I just haven't pulled it all yet. There's a few things that'll be okay, like kohlrabi that can stay. This fennel should be okay up here. These onions are about ready. At least that one on that side is ready. All of the bolting stuff I need to get out of there, or decide if I want to keep it and wait for seed, which I probably don't. And then I'm going to replant that with, I don't know what just yet. The nasturtiums down at the bottom look amazing. I have started cloning these a little bit. I need to clone some more because I just love them. They're so beautiful. Got some more Cuban oregano in there. More bolting stuff over here. And I see another peanut plant over there. Oh, I forgot to show you what's on the fennel. Hey, you see that? That is a black swallowtail caterpillar. She's been here for a few days. We've had a couple of butterflies flying around, following me around the garden. And I believe I have some other little baby ones over in the garden. So that'll be exciting when they finally hatch. More petunias over here. They're so pretty. I need to try to clone those too. Some people clone petunias and they are very successful. So I might give that a try just for the heck of it. This is my lilac green stalk, which is filled with strawberries. These strawberries were planted very late, most of them. Most of them were actually runners. I did a video a while ago about the runners in the mulch that was in my garden. I pulled them. I had them in a pot for a little too long. I replanted them. Some of them didn't make it. The squirrels dug some up. So I replaced a couple of them with nursery plants, not many, but now you can see that they are making runners. So I'll be able to replace the plants that didn't make it if I want to. Not sure I'll get strawberries this season yet, but we will see. And I had to put all of these things in the pockets to keep the squirrels from digging, and they still figure out a way to get in there, which is so annoying, so annoying. Most of the empty pockets now also have onions in there. All right, over here, these are my Daisy Rain watering system pots. Basically, it is pots with irrigation installed. So we have a bunch of peas in here that most of them have seen better days. Their lifespan is over. Then there were some that was planted a little bit later, which, as you can see, still have some gorgeous peas on there, which I need to harvest. And we have some pesto perpetual basil down here, which is one of my favorite basils. Something else I need to start cloning. Got some onions in there. There were some radishes in there. I pulled those already. And again, little barriers to try to keep the squirrels out. All right, now here we are. There is the main garden, the jungle, looking absolutely amazing. But before we get there, this is another green stalk that I've done nothing with yet. So the plants that you see in there are either weeds, which I don't even know how that got there, or volunteers. So I need to clean that out. I'm probably going to plant this up with herbs for fall very soon. And some of them are actually sitting over here. We've got some more sage. We've got some rosemary. We've got some lemon verbena. And these are 2 tomatoes that I need to get planted right away. There was another couple over there, and I forgot to point it out. These are Better Boy from a nursery. Or no, I'm sorry, from Walmart. Got 4 plants for $1. I also got a bunch of jalapeno plants for $1 that was in that blue green stalk that I talked about. So I need to put those somewhere. I know where I want them to go, but I might have to put them somewhere else because my planter that I wanted to put them in is not ready. Then on top of my junky potting bench, we have another beautiful hibiscus and some more gorgeous petunias. And in here, what did I buy? Della Sperma fire spinner, which hasn't done much yet and might not live because it was in the little nursery pot for too long. We will see. Sometimes you think plants are gonna die and they surprise you. All right, over here by the swing, these are a couple of tomatillo volunteers. I haven't talked about these yet, but let me tell you. We'll start there. Going into the gorgeous garden. We'll come back to this stuff in a minute. This is my tomatillo bed. Many of the plants in this massive bed were volunteers. I did not know I would have so many volunteers, so I also started some. So there are tomatillo plants stuffed in here, and there are some stuffed over there, and there is one stuffed over there. And then I've been pulling some and finally getting rid of them, and I have given some away because, wow. Okay, going back to entering the garden. Here on the sides of the arch, we have cucumber plants that are climbing. I believe this is just what they call a hybrid cucumber from the nursery, because I wanted something to climb here. And then there's another one of those there. And then these pots along the side, these were taken over by chives over the past couple of years. I have started pulling some. I need to pull some more. You see the shisho. The shisho started over here and just took over and started seeding itself everywhere. I actually just pulled up a bunch from under the swing over there a few days ago. And this corner planter, these are Brussels sprout plants that have been here for a while. They got murdered by cabbage worms, but then they bounced back. I'm leaving them over here because they seem to get a little bit of shade in this area, so I'm wondering if they will actually make it. We will see. This is a bunch of gorgeous oregano that came back and shisho. I need to start pulling and harvesting more of this shisho too. And then over here, this is one of the green stalks, as you can see. Look right there, gorgeous big beet. That one looks like it's just about ready. So this is a mixed one. It is filled with kale, microdorf tomatoes, which look how gorgeous some of these are. Edible flowers. There's some roselle there. There's some more herbs at the bottom. There's some beans, bush beans that I put into empty pockets, and it's looking great. Then on this side, we have my sweet pepper green stalk. This is the most sweet peppers I have ever grown. So this is 30 plants in here. And some of them are so gorgeous and they are doing great. Look at that. That's violet sparkle. I've already harvested a couple of these and there's more. I'm gonna get these this week. We have, is this a poblano? Looks like a poblano. Yep, that is a poblano. Gorgeous poblano there. There's another down there. Oh, we've got red Marconi. Let's see if we have anything on that. Yes, we sure do. Look at that. Look how gorgeous. I love Marconi peppers because they get so big. And there's plenty on that plant I can see. Look up here. We've got, what is this one called? Dos de Springa. I'm sure I said that wrong. But look how big these are. These are gorgeous. Coming over here. So these are all sweet peppers. Bell peppers, long sweet peppers. Look at the size of this one. Very nice. Very nice. That is mislabeled though. That's not a candy cane pepper. This is an Anaheim. Look at how long this pepper is. Beautiful. We've got a couple Anaheim plants in there. We've got some little things there. I don't know what that is. And look at these diamond bells. That's a white bell pepper. Very nice. Another one of those down there. Very nice. So that's the sweet pepper tower. And then over here, we have a mixed bed. We've got some marigolds, shisho. So we got cabbage down there, which those two are doing well. This one needs to just be pulled, which I'll do this week. But they seem to be doing okay, being shaded by all these other plants, so they stay a little cool. This is basil. There's some beets in there, which are coming up to a nice size. Back here, we've got some tomatoes. What is this tomato? Super sauce hybrid. So those are supposed to get to a nice size. We will see. We will see. Over here, we have sugar baby watermelon. This is a Vigo Garden tomato planter, but I decided to give it a try with this since it has the trellis. I need to cover that, put a cage on it or something, because I do not want it to disappear. I had one last year coming up to size, and then one day it was just gone. This basil also, I need to harvest some of this. Look how huge and beautiful that is. And you can see that, closer look at that cabbage. You can see the cabbage worms have been in there. So it's time for me to get my BT out and spray that again. And then over here, we have another gorgeous green stalk. This one has fennel, early sprouting broccoli, beautiful cabbage right here. There's some carrots at the bottom. There's some roselle, and there's quite a few eggplant in here. Let's take a look at some of this eggplant. Look at that. That is Little Prince eggplant. There's another down there. There's some Thai purple eggplant somewhere. Let me find it. Here we go. Up there. And we have another of those gorgeous cabbages. This one's starting to head up, it appears. There's some microdorf tomatoes down there. Here's an Aswald eggplant. That is a jewel marble eggplant. That gorgeous thing right there. And it's just doing well. Look at how many tomatoes are on this plant down here. Very, very nice. And again, some of these tomatoes were the ones that I germinated in that planter there and just moved them all over the place. And speaking of tomatoes, this is my actual official green stalk microdorf tomato tower. 42 plants, 42 microdorf cherry tomato plants, except some of them are a really nice size. This one, I just recently harvested like most of the ripe and almost ripe tomatoes because we were getting a lot of rain and they were starting to split. But this one, Carrot Mini, had some nice size ones. Look at these. These look gorgeous. There's a lot of varieties in here. I can't get in there to read all of the tags, but I can put a list of what they are. I might actually do a separate video on these. That says Laura number 5. I'm familiar with that one. And look at that. That's a decent sized tomato. And I want to do what I did earlier. I want to scoot over in here. This is a dangerous place to go, but I don't mind. Okay, this is what I want to show you. This is a little Napoli. This is like a small dwarf Roma plant. Only gets max 2 feet tall. But look at the tomatoes. I'm so excited about these because I can grow these inside in my Arrow Garden farm or maybe even the Bounty and get some really nice tomatoes inside over winter. So I'm going to do that. We've got some more. This is an interesting one. This plant, this is called Guinea Yellow. This has looked like crap since I planted it. I don't know what is with this plant. It's got tomatoes on it, as you can see, but it's just not happy. So we'll see what I can do about that. I might try to find some good branches and clone them, see if I can get a better looking plant. But overall, the tower is doing fine. It's time to feed it, that's for sure. Here's the other side of that crazy tomatillo bed. And over here we have cucumbers. Which ones are these? I think it's Tasty Green. Let's see. Yep, Tasty Green. So you can see one here. Beautiful cucumber there. I know there's another one up there. I just harvested a bunch of them too. And they are just cranking it out. And then if we turn this way, on my Vigo Garden wall trellis, this is a massive squash plant. This is called Early Bullum Squash. This is my first time growing this. And look at that. Here's one here. There's 2 more right there. Can you see those? And this is the plant that I had to go over here on the other side of the fence to the neighbors and rescue a vine. I was driving home from work one day and I'm like, oh boy, there's something going over to the neighbors. One of the vines had escaped and had actually embedded itself in the grass through one of the little slants here. So now I have to make sure I go over there and check often to make sure nothing's escaping. But this squash plant is ridiculous. It has started to go up here with the cucumbers and attach itself to this trellis too. See, look at that. So I don't know if it's gonna take over the whole yard or what. We will see. All right, let me carefully scoot back out of here. I'm gonna come through and tie these branches up so I can get my little walkway back. See, here's the other two of those squash. So this is like an Asian variety summer squash that I'm excited to try. See, this one didn't get pollinated, but these two are fine. And down here, this is one of my other favorite squash. This is the white scallop squash. This thing was so insanely productive last year. But I may have really overloaded this bed because I didn't know that squash plant was going to go that crazy. And there's also some tomatoes in there. It's ridiculous, but it looks amazing. I embrace the jungle. I really do. Here we have in this bed a tomato and in that bed a tomato. They are the striped stuffer. Here's some tomatoes coming along here, looking very good. Then we got a little microdwarf one down here. Oh, that one's ripening. And over here, there's some ripe ones on there. I should probably get those. If we turn this way, I have two of these pots that came from Aldi. They got knocked over in a recent storm, so I need to do a little bit of a repair on them. But there's a cucumber in each one of these pots. I love these pots. And I always get comments on, where did you get that? And Aldi had them once and never again. I've had them like 4 years. So I definitely want to try to hold on to them and fix them. I need to finish my repair at some point this week. And before we get to this massive thing back here, over there we have more cucumbers. As you can see, they have reached the top of the trellises. Oh, and yeah, I built these trellises myself just using chicken wire and wood. Very, very easy. My fence is 6 feet tall. The beds that they are in are 2 feet tall. So yeah, the cucumbers are going gangbusters. Now here in this yellow green stock, we have lots of basil varieties. Mostly this was going to be all basil tower, but it didn't work out that way. There's some beans, there's some cabbages, and there's some onions at the bottom. Let's scoot over here because I want you to see the other side of this wild bed where the tomatoes and squash are just taking over, especially the squash. And this is some more of that purple oric, which I need to pull out of here. But this is crazy. I mean, wow. How am I even gonna get in there? I need to start tying up and trimming some of these plants very soon. And these cucumbers look amazing. I won't go digging in there right now. Over here, we have my main tomato bed, but let's go talk about it from the other side. Here's some tomatoes we see on the way. More of those striped stuffers. All right, more room over here. So my main tomato bed with the bamboo trellis that everyone asks about, which I don't recommend because it's falling apart. I need to repair that or build another one or something. That came from gardeners a couple of years ago and did not last long in our climate at all. But back to the tomatoes. There are so many gorgeous tomatoes in this bed. Look at this. They are coming along very beautifully. And as you can see, it is stuffed. There are so many plants in here. I don't remember how many, but the weather was so crazy and the time got away from me that I didn't do much pruning. I need to get in there and clip some more at the bottom, but I'm not a big tomato pruner anyway. Let's talk about that. Pruning suckers means you get less fruit. Some people like to prune their plants for prettiness or to keep them to one growing stem or whatever. But if you prune a sucker like this right here, this was a sucker. If I prune that off, those two tomatoes wouldn't be there. And they're a beautiful size too. So I do very little pruning on my plants until like late in the season when they are just really wild, when disease starts to hit, when I need to start digging around in there to get tomatoes and I know that the season is short anyway, that's when I start pruning. But right now in July, max production season, I just let them go. And as we can see, they look happy. They look very, very happy so far. Lots of beautiful tomatoes that I can't wait for. More cucumbers over here. These are Japanese cucumbers. I've harvested quite a few of these already. These supposedly get up to 18 inches, so I might let this set do that. I was tending to pull them a little earlier than that so far. Got some chives over there. We've got some oric here that I need to get rid of. This wild bed is supposed to be my cucumber bed, but I put some collards in the front. I need to get in here, harvest all of the large leaves off these collards, and tame these cucumbers because, wow, there are French cornicone cucumbers over here. Look at that. That one's ready to go. And look at that. There's 3 more waiting right there. There are dragon egg cucumbers, which I don't think any of them have shown their face yet. And there's an Asian variety over here, which I don't think have any yet. But those French cornicone, I grew those last year as well. Insanely productive. Oh, there's a little one coming off of the Asian cucumber. Dragon egg, I can't see in there just yet. But I will have lots and lots of cucumbers, as you can see. Oh, nope, here we go. Here's 3 little dragon eggs forming right there. Very nice. And these French cornicone plants are coming over here and taking over the trellises for this bed. Then there's these things that come up in my yard that I need to get rid of. But back to the bed. In here we've got celery, a couple of peppers. I think these are the cherry bomb peppers. Look how cute those are. And then there's sugar baby watermelon in the back, which is supposed to be using this trellis. So I need to at least train them to go that way so they can use the part, or I need to move this damn cucumbers back because they are going insane. I think I'm gonna do something different with this bed next year for a trellis, or at least try to make it stronger or something. Over here we have my 32-inch Vigo Garden bed that I don't have anything in yet. I pulled all the greens that were in there after spring. I just got my watering system installed, so it will be ready to go when I replant it. Then over here, this is a wild tomato corner. We've got 1, 2, 3 tomatoes over there. I forgot which one, and I don't feel like digging in there right now. We've got 2 Roma tomatoes right here that were fine the other day, and then we had a storm and they blew over and they have exploded from rain. So I need to get in here and stake them and put some trellises up. Then back there we have 1 lemon cucumber plant that was started late because I had to restart it, but it will go along the fence and just spread out. I've grown lemon cucumber in that spot before, and they just went insane all along the fence. Then over here in this bed, we have 2 enormous Rebel Starfighter plants. Look at those gorgeous tomatoes. These have looked sad, but also growing like crazy, just curled since the start, and they are producing like crazy. And then you can see the cucumber that's in that bed coming through and taking over. So I need to do some taming in there as well. And then if we turn this way, we have another green stalk. Look at that. If you are keeping count, I have 17 green stalks. 14 of them are planted already. 3 of them are not. So this is all Swiss chard, different colors, different varieties, and different growth. You know, some of them were bigger than others, but they will all catch up. And chard does very well in the summer. Pests don't seem to bother it, and it can grow into the fall. Then we have my jalapeno tower. This one is just gorgeous, and I'm so proud of it. I do a pepper tower every year. You see, I have 2 pepper towers this year, plus I have peppers everywhere else. I am up to, I think it was 114 pepper plants. But this jalapeno tower has at least 30 varieties of different types of jalapenos. So here we have black jalapeno. Look how gorgeous that is. Then this is the giant orange, which as you can see, they're not giant or orange just yet. Over here we have a gorgeous one called Purple Tiger. Then there are some more like orange spice. There's some regular jalapeno varieties in here as well. But I also planted plenty of pretty ones. I'm gonna do some cowboy candy and some pickled jalapenos. We love those. Here's some more gorgeous ones. And I know there's Ariba right there. That's the yellowish white one. Let's see, one with blossom end rot right here. This is blossom end rot. You will hear differing opinions on what causes blossom end rot. So some will say it's a calcium deficiency, and yes, in part that is true. But it also comes from inconsistent watering. So since I have my watering system set up now, and after I feed them, we won't see those issues anymore. This was one of the first. And look at that. There's a nice size jalapeno next to that. And which one? Let's go down. Trying to tell what plant that is. Park Swapper. Excuse me. So that's Park Swapper jalapeno. They're supposed to get pretty big. We will see. But it is looking fantastic, don't you think? Most of the plants look happy, except this one here, which this is another one of those little weird ones. I think it's a cross or something. It's called jalapeno orange. And it's a tiny little plant with tiny little fruits. But I'm going to let it stay and see what happens. Then here's the other cucumber pot that I mentioned. And this massive thing. This is, I've done posts and videos on this already. This is my escalator zucchini from Park Seed. Isn't this amazing? There's one plant on this side. There's one plant on this side. And they go up and meet in the middle. And you can see there's some zucchini up there. I'm going to have to get a step ladder just to harvest the zucchini. I've already harvested several of them. And look at this. Oh my God. Where'd you come from? There's 3 right here. 1, 2, 3 coming off this one plant. These things are massive and they produce like crazy. I love it. If you want a plant that's going to give you a ton of zucchini, definitely get this. I will put a link in the comments. It comes from Renee's Garden. They are the only place that has it. And it's awesome. And then if we go down in here, these are acorn squash that I have down in the middle. They are also doing pretty well. Look at that. There's a gorgeous one. I need to look up and see what is the optimal size for harvesting these. There's one here. I see one over there that didn't get pollinated probably, so it's drying up. But I know there's another nice one on the other side. Let's go over there. Yep, there it is. Very nice. This one is probably ready to go. That's a very nice size acorn squash. There's another one right there. Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be really hot this week. So I'm going to have to be careful about coming out here and harvesting things. But it has to be done, you know. It has to be done. So what did we not talk about? Oh, this. This is something else I'm always very proud of and love. This is Pepper Row. 23 5-gallon buckets, all filled with peppers. So some of these were overflow peppers from the green stalks. So there's some sweet peppers, there's some jalapenos, then there's some other fun stuff in here that I didn't put in either of those places. So let's see what we have. This is Hawaiian chili. I don't know if we have anything on there yet. Nope. Then we have, TML X jalapeno. So that's a repeat from one of the green stalks, I think. But look at that. They're so cute. Then we have black tie dragon. I don't think this is right. My black tie dragon didn't make it. So I think this is just a tie. Oh, wait a minute. I might be wrong. That looks different. We'll have to see. And here, I think these are cherry bomb. Let's see. But look at that. There's 2 red ones there that I need to get. Where's my sign? Why is there no sign? I know I have this same pepper elsewhere, so I know what it is. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Bull's heart. Okay, so not cherry bomb. It does look like cherry bomb, but it's called bull's heart. This one is loaded too. Peppers grow so well in 5-gallon buckets. They really do. See how tall this one is already? Over 2 feet. That's orange jalapeno. We've got paprika. We've got coral bell. So that's a sweet pepper. And look, it's got some on there. We've got lemon spice jalapeno, which is one of my favorites. Some more paprika peppers, different type. Yellow jalapeno, that's a repeat. So as you can see, I have a lot of pepper plants. And here's another gorgeous one here. Look at that. Look at these. Now, the peppers in the buckets will get bigger. The plants will get bigger than the plants in the green stalk. You can see how tall these are because they have more soil, more root space, and more room to go up because of the root space. Oh, this is called gochu. This is a Asian pepper that I'm excited about. Look at it. It's loaded. Very nice. I am so happy about this. So the garden is doing fantastic. I wanted to make sure to get out here and do this because we have extreme heat coming over the next like 3 or 4 days. Heat index is up to 120, not kidding. So the temperatures are going to be in the 90s. The heat index is going to be ridiculous. I have irrigation, so I'm not sure how often I'll actually be coming outside to do anything in the garden except maybe in the evening to see if anything needs harvesting. As you can see, things are looking pretty amazing. I'm actually participating in a garden crawl in about 3 weeks. So there are a few projects that I need to finish up, like the corner that I showed you and a couple of other things that I want to do. And then I just need to keep the garden alive and green for the next 3 weeks. And I didn't get to it today. I wanted to feed the garden. I actually do have time to give it a try, or at least feed the green stalks, because it is time to feed the green stalks. So I might mix up some fertilizer and do that real quick. We will see. But I thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed that tour. As mentioned, I'm gonna try my best to get better about doing this. And so I will see you on the next one.